All right, let's call this meeting to order, and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready?
Sure.
All right. Communications to the board and a review of the agenda. Before I get into that, it just is so exciting to see so many people here, especially our students. I can't wait to hear the reports and the exciting things that are happening in our school district. Just in case you didn't see or smell them on the way in, Director Quimby brought in some chocolate chip cookies. Those are homemade out there, and they're, at least when I had mine, it was still a little warm, so please help yourself. Okay, I apologize for these additions, but I do have several additions to the agenda tonight. So in the top of the agenda under student report, we're going to have reports from each of our building about goals that they're working on in their building, the interventions that they're doing, and their desired outcomes. And those are going to be given by teachers in each of those buildings. Those are focused around areas that the district, through the guidance of the board, through the administration, through the staff, have deemed areas that they want to improve on. So I'm really looking forward to those reports. And I don't know how we left this off, but at the end of your agenda, we need to add number 8 as individual director reports. So our board of directors have an opportunity to give report. Those are my 2 additions, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Okay, I believe we are moving on to information about the Ron Clark Academies from Tammy Beard, Christina Haug, and some students that went on those adventures to tell us what that's been all about.
Good evening. My name is Nolan Goodman, and this is our team that went to RCA, and we're going to be showing you what we're bringing back to our school, what we learned there, and other things that we saw. I'm Nolan Goodman. I'm Jackson Barron. I'm Ava Exat. I'm Audrey O'Dell. Hi, I'm Reed Shattenkirk. I'm Audrey Southey. I'm Haley Lewis. I'm Hallie Goodman. I'm Ella Weber. I'm Sydney Sprague.
So this is that awkward silence that our students experience in the classroom sometimes, waiting on technology to work in our favor. So I appreciate everybody's patience.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ava Extat from the 6th grade in Mr. Brown's class, and me and Audrey Southey are going to be talking about what we are bringing back from what we learned at the RCA. The two things that really stuck with me from the RCA was respect that the students showed to themselves and their teachers and peers. When one student was speaking, the other students sat up and listened with their eyes and ears. The other thing that was with me from the trip was that the students projected their voices and spoke with their hands, and they shifted their feet while turning slowly so that everyone heard their voice. All of the students, big and small, were heard, and no one feels left out there. Every student gets their say in what happens, no matter how old they are, young or. Thank you. I'm gonna give this to my friend.
Hi, I'm Audrey Southey. I'm in 6th grade and I'm in Yukumori. Something I learned is leadership is not about being the best. It's about being able to show others how good they are too. When you are a leader, you lead by acting with integrity and empathy. Those are great examples of being a leader. I feel as a leader that always presenting this attitude will create a sense of self-awareness for others and help influence my peers to make the same steps leading towards a kinder, more accepting world to live in. Something as small as a smile can go a long way. I believe there's goodness in all of us, and one of my goals as a leader is to bring out the best in everyone. Thank you. We are gonna give it to Jackson.
Oh, these are pictures from when we were at the RCA, and there's a picture of me and Jackson meeting Ron Clark. And we're gonna give the mic to Jackson. Hi, my name is Jackson Barron, and me and Nolan are going to talk about what we saw outside of RCA. And one of the thing I'm talking about is I like baseball a lot, and the Atlanta Braves is my favorite team. And lucky enough, we went to Truist Park, and we went into the dugout, which was really cool. And we saw all their World Series trophies, and we went into the post box, and we probably went in every seat, and it was really cool. I'm gonna have to give this, oh, there was a bunch of clubs, like the Delta Club, Truist Club, and it's just a huge thing. and I'm gonna give this to my friend Nolan.
I am Nolan Goodman, and another great thing that we got to see in Atlanta is the Georgia Aquarium. The Georgia Aquarium is ranked one of the world's best aquariums. That's a reason. One reason is that they have whale sharks. They're the only aquarium in the world with whale sharks. That's a huge attraction. And then we got to go to this really cool show about sea seals. They were rescued, and their trainers taught them how to do like handstands and spin. I sat in the splash zone and I got like really splashed. But one of the biggest attractions there would probably be the beluga whales. I love them so much because they're huge heads, and they're all white, and their heads are massive. And now I'm gonna give it to Reed.
Hi, I'm Reed, and I am in the House of On Rock in 5th grade. I was lucky enough to be able to go to the Ron Clark Academy, and I would like to tell you what I hope I bring back to Light Elementary. One of the things is student engagement. More students engaging and speak like assemblies. We've been doing assemblies for the kids, and the students lead the assembly, and that is really good because it gets their voices heard, and I would like to continue doing the student assemblies. Another thing that we brought back to Light Elementary was more house leaders. So for each house, we have house leaders. I'm in the House of On Rocca, and I'm the house leader for that house. And I like those house groupings. What we changed about them was those house leaders can get their voice heard in smaller groups if they're shy or they don't really like to talk. And then somebody in that house group can say it to the school about what that person said, because those types of people don't really like bad compliments and saying that like their ideas aren't very smart. And another thing is we don't have a student council in our school, and I think it would be very helpful to have one, because we have this leadership team that we meet every Tuesday to talk about things that we can do, but I think the student council would help because they're not just people that went to a place. They can just be people out of this school that would like to learn and try and state their opinion to the principal. The principal accepting or declining their statements or offers that they would like to change about the school. Now I'm going to turn it over to Audrey, my friend Audrey.
Hello, my name is Audrey Odell, and I'm in the 6th grade and representing the House of Isabendi. One of the things I put in my Ron Clark letter is that I'm super shy, and it is true. And that trip really got me to come out of my shell. I'm going to be talking to you guys about student engagement. Being the friend. One way we can be the friend is by showing kids that they belong. Let's say a new student comes and they spin the house wheel and they land in the House of Isabendi. Every kid in that house, in their class, would stand up and say, "Hey, come hang out with me at recess. Hey, come play this at lunch." This gets the feeling in their mind that they belong somewhere. Not only does this go for new students, but it also goes for students who just sometimes feel like they're alone and do not have a lot of friends. that is all I have about being a friend. Thank you for your time. Hello, I'd like to start over to
Hi, my name is Haley Lewis. I'm representing the House of River. I'm going to talk about the founding principles of Ron Clark Academy. In Ron Clark, the goal of the students and teachers is to push each other to be better and to be the best that they possibly can. And they all want to just find a way to make it happen. If they have a dream, they want that dream to come true. They're there for a reason, and they want to participate, and they want to make a difference. And they just want to dream big, and they want to be the biggest person they can possibly be. Now I'm turning up the mic over to Hallie.
Hi, my name is Hallie Goodman. I'm in 8th grade, and I'm also representing the House of Revere. And I am talking about team building at Ron Clark. There at Ron Clark, every student is engaged in their house activities, which is something that I really would like to implement into the Glide School District, because it is just way more fun to be at school if you have a house system to be engaged with and just like a reason to be there, which is part of Ron Clark. The school is not only, the kids are learning a lot, but they're also having fun while they do it, which I think is a great way to learn. Also, not only did we build relationships at Ron Clark, we also talked and bonded back at the house. We talked about how we are going to change the school for the better and what ways we're implementing RCA into our Glide community. I would now like to give the mic to Ella Weber.
Hi, my name is Ella Weber. I'm in 8th grade and I am representing the House of Isabella. I am talking about what excites us about coming back to Glide after being in RCA. We would like to implement house hype and house competitions to involve everyone in Glide so that they feel like they're included. We would like to bring back the positivity and the love that they showed us at RCA so everyone also feels included like more. And making students at Glide feel like they are part of our house family so they can go out there and help us in our house competitions. Creating additional connections with students and staff to help us in like understanding and more about our houses, and leading the community service projects as houses for helping like around the school and stuff like that. I would now like to pass it on to Sydney Sprague.
Hi, I'm Sydney Sprague and I'm in 9th grade and I'm representing the House of River. At RCA, they had amazing house leaders, and we'd like to implement that at our school and our Pay It Forward Club. And they have hosted our Haunted Western Ghost Town Dance on October 26th. 83 students and 12 staff members attended that and helped. And we have assemblies on Thursdays, which includes house chants and friendly competitions, and also house points awarded for character traits, academic excellence, and merit. And for the first quarter house winner is a Bindi. They will get a pizza party in December. And for the semester house trip, bowling, skating, or a movie, the winning house will decide which one for all of the GMS students. And now I'm going to pass it to Haley, please. Sorry.
I'm going to talk about some community service that we want to do. In December, we have the Canned Food Drive fundraiser, and we also have Toys for Tots. We have the Glide Middle School and Glide High School concert. We're going to be serving cookies and punch there. And we want to do a bake sale for raising money for needy families during the holiday season. Now I'm going to be reintroducing Sydney back to the mic.
RCA is very new to GHS. We haven't implemented it quite yet into Glide High School, but we would like to relocate the student store to the Wildcat lobby and kick off house sorting party on January 25th and start off house competitions and a digital board with house app and Raider and Wildcat halls. So that's what we have.
So part of this is coming, that allowed us to be able to do this is that we wrote a Ford Family Innovation Grant. So we're going to receive $75,000 for the next 3 years in a row so that we can provide additional training for our students and our staff, provide some GSD family events, some hosted by our leadership group here, getting this group of kids back together and continuing bringing that vision to our school, some learning opportunities and just leadership and career activities and field trips. So, and then just some different student recognition events. So super excited about it. Dr. was instrumental in that.
So are you ready to spin the wheel?
Oh,
Yeah. So this time, the students want to put all of you into a house, if you're willing.
Jackson.
So
That sounds good.
Can I ask a question? Before we
Yeah.
get sorted? What do the names mean?
Yeah.
One of you went through that.
So at the elementary school, we have 8 houses because we're 420 kids. So we're trying to get our houses smaller. So our 8 houses, 4 of our houses feed into the middle school, will feed into the high school. So all of our houses they represent different regions around. So tell about your house.
My house is Altruissimo, and it's the house of givers. And it used to be a lion and an eagle. Now it's a griffin. That's like a lion and an eagle combined. But we're the house of givers. We're based in like South America, Brazil. And yeah.
That's awesome.
would like all the board members to spin the wheel, and hopefully you all land in Altruisimo. Most of you.
How did you all get placed in your houses? Was there a sorting hat or what?
We did the same thing. We did the same thing, spun a wheel.
Okay, thank you. Rocco, did you rig this? I love it.
Before she walked up there, she said that's the one she wanted.
Right?
Moms are sweaty.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Oh yeah, for Dan.
We would like to thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for that. That was amazing and super fun. Okay. So I believe now we're going to present the November SB Awards. So the Glide School District board members are proud to recognize our students monthly for exceptional performance at school. SB stands for Exceptional Student Performance this year. To receive this award, students must demonstrate these traits: strong academic achievement, incredible work ethic, a positive attitude, kind-hearted nature, the desire to not only push themselves, but help others succeed as well. So at this time, the board chair will call students one at a time, beginning with 12th grade. Each student will approach Mr. Freeman, shake his hand, and receive their award. They will continue around the board table, shaking each member's hand. The principals will be at the end of the line, and as they return to their chair, the board chair will call the next student. Please make sure to talk into your mic to those on Zoom so that those on Zoom may hear what your name is. Or was that for me? I will follow my directions. Okay, so to start, we have Tanner Ritchie, 12th grade. Oh, sorry. No Tanner. Okay, we'll move on to 11th grade, Jesse McGraw. Tenth grade, Kelly Santiago. Okay, ninth grade, Cindy Sprague. Sydney, sorry. Okay, middle school, 8th grade, Haley Goodman. Okay, 7th grade, we have Lincoln Adams. We're going to move on to elementary school, 6th grade. Connor Magali. Am I saying that right, I hope? Next, 5th grade, we have Kaiban Awelia. Sorta. Orwellia. Is that better? Or what is it? Orwella. Or that. Okay, 4th grade, Sonora Scarborough. Scarborough. Okay, 3rd grade, Bentley Cardwell. Second grade, Sophia Scarborough. Hopefully I'm still saying that right. Oh. First grade, Riley Smith. And for kindergarten, we have Nathan Taylor. Congratulations, everybody. They're like, y'all don't have to leave. I know. I think this has been the habit. I've been to a lot of these. Wow, bummer. So now we're going to have our student presentation, student report, I mean.
This past month, we have taken our knowledge on the road with a variety of field trips and activities. Just to list a few, our fire science class students have been suiting up to work on their rescue skill training at the Glide Fire Department several days a week. Our soccer team was able to see collegiate soccer players in action on their trip to the Civil War soccer game in Corvallis. Several awesome parents served up a great dinner prior to the game and help make the trip a lasting memory for all the players. Our high school geology class recently explored the Big Obsidian Flow and Lava Butte in Sun River, delving into the fascinating geological history of our state. 8 of our FFA members traveled to Indianapolis and Tennessee to attend the National FFA Convention with Miss Beam and Miss McCall. There were amazing leadership workshops and industry tours throughout the trip, with students coming back with great plans for leadership within the chapter and community. Our ag students attended the tractor certification training yesterday, along with several ag mechanic students competing in a welding competition and trade show in Albany today.
Wow.
Lastly, our Glide FFA showed their respect to our veterans this past Saturday at the flow entry at the Douglas County Veterans Day Parade. Just for fun, friendly competition and funding, we have also been busy with dances, Battle of the Books, play practice, and winter athletics. Noah Eichenbusch just represented Glide and the state of Oregon well, placing 298th out of 1,467 athletes at the Northwest, at the Northwest Regional Cross Country Competition in Boise, Idaho.
So cool.
Noah is in the top 20% of cross-country athletes in the Pacific Northwest as a junior. Way to go, Noah. Our sophomore class hosted the high school casino night dance, while our middle school Pay It Forward Club hosted a haunted ghost town dance. We had an amazing turnout for both dances and are looking forward to our coming dances in February and March. Battle of the Book members are busy reading each of the competition's books as they prepare for a district competition this spring. Our actresses and actors are learning their lines for their upcoming class play to be held on December 13th, 14th, and 15th. We just finished an Inktober competition, which included drawing 16 to 30 ink drawings based upon prompts. We had some stellar entries, with student winners receiving art supplies of their choosing. Athletics. After we wrapped up our amazing fall season, our middle school boys basketball team has dominated the league despite some injuries. High school boys and girls basketball, as well as wrestling, started practice this Monday with huge turnouts for all 3 teams.
Awesome.
Our Oregon High School equestrian team and Glide FFA have been selling Christmas wreaths and hazelnuts, respectively. The Booster Club has continued to fund several student activities on campus as well as manage our game concessions. The Glide FFA alumni and Ag program members have been collecting donations for the Glide FFA alumni dinner auction on December 6th at Splits, while Pay It Forward Club members have been selling baked goods to raise money for local charities. Lastly, our project graduation committee has been meeting to create fun experiences for our seniors each month while planning for the class of 2024 all-night substance-free graduation party. Finally, we will be hosting the following events in the next coming weeks. Student Store Makeover Day, Friday, November 17th in Wildcat Hall, African Drum Assembly and Turkey Bowl for middle school, along with a Civil War dress-up day on Tuesday, November 21st. National Honor Society Introduction Ceremony Monday, November 27th. FFA Alumni Meeting Monday, November 27th. Student Site Visit with Food Pantries Thursday, November 30th. Staff Mustache Competition Assembly Thursday, November 30th. The Willie Wilkinson Wrestling Tournament Saturday, December 2nd. Canned Food Drive Monday, December 4th to Thursday, December 14th. FFA Alumni Dinner Auction Wednesday, December 6th. Project Grad Meeting Thursday, December 7th. UCC Healthcare Career Day Tuesday, December 12th. Middle School and High School Winter Concert Tuesday, December 12th. High School Play Uh-Oh, Here Comes Christmas is December 13th to the 15th. And many BBX and wrestling events, please see District Athletics calendar. Thank you for your time, service to the Glide student, staff, and community. Have a great evening.
Thank you. And now I believe we're going to have a high school, middle school goal report from Kathleen Cole.
Except, can I set that up? Can I set it up for just a minute? Oh.
Please do, because I certainly was thinking, uh-oh, here comes Christmas.
I want to say thank you for having me. My name is Kathleen Carson Cole, and I am the Director of Theater for the Glide School District. I feel super excited and happy. It is the time of year when I have to put on something that says, ask me about the high school play, okay? Because I have all of the answers about the high school play. I brought some friends with me. Please join me. I have Ava Murphy and I have Peter Shepard. Both of them are co-presidents of our organization. They are basically kind of the way that I can make things happen from the middle school when everyone in my play is in high school. So it works out really good. And I would just say they're both really, really talented and fun to watch. And if you were to describe Uh-Oh, Here Comes Christmas, what would you say, Peter Shepard? You can take this mic.
I think the play Uh-Oh, Here Comes Christmas describes a lot of family Christmas stories being narrated while also acted out in a comedic fashion as a good way to get people excited going into the winter break.
I didn't think I was going to be speaking, sorry. I think it really encompasses, like, even though it's a play about a bunch of short stories about Christmas, I think it really encompasses a bunch of different feelings and like thoughts surrounding Christmas, and I think it's just really beautiful. So yeah.
And we hope that you tell lots of people to come and see it because it's going to be awesome. And it, as Autumn said, 13th, 14th, and 15th of December. So it's a month from now. Doesn't really seem like we should be talking about Christmas right now, but let's be honest.
Right.
We open on your next board meeting. So
Oof.
there you go. But you guys, hand out candy canes. I'm going to hand out poinsettias for everybody.
Yeah. All right.
And then I'm sorry, then you can set it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I like it. I know, I was thinking that. Awesome. That's me every day. Uh-oh, here comes Christmas.
Yes, it does. Because asking about the play is a good thing to ask about. Yeah. So now you're going to give an intro.
Yes. If you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to talk with me about the elementary school, so I'll just sit here.
Okay. I want to set this up, but before I get going, Autumn, I just want to tell you, I hope you seek a career in public speaking. You did a great job. You projected well and you enunciated. Nice job. Well done. Okay, I like it. Yep, that's even better. I also, at the last board meeting, I talked to the directors about the state of our organization and how we're in really good hands with our kids. You guys got a really good taste of that tonight. Those presentations were amazing. We have incredible opportunities that we're providing for kids, and then you just heard what those opportunities are going to do for our organization. So I just want to thank all the kids and the adults that helped the kids present tonight. That was wonderful. On those same lines, as we learn as new board members and a new superintendent on what board meetings are really designed to do, it's important that you know what's going on in each of the buildings. So with that thought, I've asked both buildings to talk about the goals that they're working on in their building, the interventions that they're doing to accomplish those goals, and what outcomes they're wanting to do. And instead of the principals reporting on that, I've asked them to select teachers, because that's where the magic happens, is in those classrooms, in those halls, when our teachers are engaged in making a difference in our buildings. So now, with that introduction, I would like to turn it over to Kathleen Cole, and then Nikki Sprague at the elementary, and they're going to talk about the goals that one goal they're working on in each of their buildings.
Let's go. Okay. Hi, I'm Nikki Copeland Sprague, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at the elementary school, and I'm going to be talking to you today about our attendance goal. So some of the statistics about where we were with attendance in 2018 and 19, 83% of our students were regular attenders, which was just below the state average of 90%. A regular attender is a student who attends 90% or more of their school days. In GLIDE, that means they have missed no more than 15 school days throughout the whole course of the year. For 2022 and 2023, our school year percentage, we were at 61%. So we can see we took a big dip there. We know the reasons why for that. And the state average was 62%. So still really close to the state average. Studies show that students who miss 2 days a month put their child's success in very big jeopardy, and the students that fall behind have a really hard time of catching up. And so by third grade, that becomes exponentially bigger. And so we want to catch those students early on and make sure that we get those good foundational skills and have everybody coming to school and realizing how important school is right from the beginning. With that, our staff looked at our school-wide data, and we set a goal to return to our rate of average attenders back to 88% over the next 3 years. Our site council has worked with us to brainstorm other ways to support our staff who have goals centered around attendance, and also ways to get words out to the families about how important attendance is at school. So what we're doing to meet our goal, in individual classrooms, they're setting individual or classroom rewards for those classroom attendance points. So in Mrs. Long's class, for example, when they reach their attendance goal, they get a popsicle party. In Ladybug Kindergarten, we blow TLC to all the friends that are, we count everybody every day, and we count to see who's missing. We blow them TLC, and as soon as they come, we have yay, you're here. It's so exciting. And then if everybody's here, we have a dance party, which is pretty awesome. So, you're welcome to come join us anytime. Let's see, what else do we have? Other staff members who have students who are struggling, are partnering with other staff members, maybe who they've connected with through their houses or other things, to kind of create some morning jobs to get them hey, you're important. We need you here today to do this job. And so that's kind of fostering some more partnerships among students and getting them feel connected. School-wide, we're providing additional connections through our house system. So we talked a lot about that tonight. And I think that's just a great opportunity for all of our kiddos to interact with other adults besides just their classroom teacher. And so we see those power of connections all the time. We're posting our goal for attendance on our reader board that's outside in the parent pickup line, or not the parent pickup line, the student pickup line. The parents come and get the kids, not the other way. And the class with the highest percentage of regular attendance earns a pizza with the principal. Whoop, whoop. So, and that's provided through a partnership with Papa Murphy's. We're also recognizing students with perfect attendance at our quarterly celebration of learning at our assembly. And we just want to also continue to create informational handouts to kind of tell parents about the facts about why attendance is so important, and some more of those statistics, and also about like when you should come and when you should stay home. You know, if you sneeze once, it's okay. You can still come to school. We have tissues and all those things, just making sure they know that. And then also Mrs. Beard is hosting Coffee with the Principal that focuses on attendance. So in closing, obviously as a teacher, I love school. I mean, I love coming every day. I get to come to a place where it's magic and magic happens, and I want kids to feel that magic and that same, you know, passion and excitement. And I think we're finding ways to do that through our connections with students, through our house system, through different, you know, positive programs. And we just know that, you know, if we teach them about how important school is, then we're also teaching them life skills. Like, it's important to show up. It's important to show up. And so I think the more that we can get them doing that, the better it is for everyone. So thanks. And then I have handouts. I want one.
Okay, I should have let Nikki let me go first because she was amazing. So, way to go, Nikki, you're awesome, okay? So, I'm gonna tell you a little something about me. And none of it is a surprise for those of you who know me. I have lived in Glide for more than 30 years. I have taught in this school district for more than half my life. I love it here. I love this community. From the very first day that I came to Glide, I went to the post office and I was gonna get a PO box. And the guy said to me, "I know that name. I'm the president of the school board." And so he welcomed me to Glide. He said, absolutely. The woman who was the vice principal at the time called my house and said, "You can stay at my house until you find a place to stay." I have had people come and save me when the water's coming up to my house. I have had parents come and say, "How can I help you with these plays?" I have had every positive experience, and not the last of which is when I got into a serious accident on the Green Bridge last year, and I looked over and there was Christina Hauk, my boss, showing up to make sure that everything was okay. It was lovely. Honestly, I love this town and I love being an English teacher here. Being an English teacher for me seems like a really exciting thing to do because I love words and I love reading stuff and I love to write stuff down and then I love to read it out loud and think about how good it could be. So that is who I am. Now, not everyone is that person and not every kid in my class is super excited to come in and say, "You know what, I'm gonna write about this," or listen to me say, "You're gonna write about this." It's hard sometimes. And we have these state standards that we're supposed to come up with. I was counting them before I came because I was like, I'm gonna make this great point. There's 73 different skills that 7th graders are accountable for. That's a lot of skills in areas that are hard for some people. How many weeks are there in a school year? That's what I was thinking that too. I was thinking 36. And if there's 36 weeks in a school year, then that's a lot of things for people to, let's say, master. Because that's what we're expecting from kids, is that they can master these 73 skills if they happen to be 7th graders. And then they can go on and master 73 more when they're 8th graders and 9th graders and 10th graders, 11, 12. So it's a big chore for them, for us, and for everyone. But again, Glide is better when it works together. And so this year, when the administration came to us and said, okay, we're gonna do goals. We've been doing SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable. I always forget R. It might be reasonable. That'd be cool. But I think it's not. I think it might be rigorous. And T, timely. Can we set these goals and accomplish them in our year? And it's been a big deal since then. It's a way different way than we used to do goals. I remember a time when one of my colleagues' goal that was accepted was to eat lunch in the staff room once a week. And that was before SMART goals. So there you go. SMART goals are harder, all right? And we have all of these standards that we're supposed to be able to just knock out of the park as a class. And you want to, because A, what do we want for our students? I could ask every single person back here, and they're all going to say, we want them to have successful lives. We want them to be happy. We want them to be educated so they can do the things that they dream about doing. We all feel that way. And when I think about the fact that every year our test results are going to show up on the cover of the newspaper, and somehow that's going to be a knock on us, it has always made me sad. And every year I try to think of what can I do? But the answer isn't what I can do. The answer is what we can all do together. And so last Friday, we had a staff meeting, and we all got together, and everybody split the room. Either you were going to do a goal with language arts, or you're going to do a goal with math. And so you had, the science teachers tend to want to do math stuff. But we had the art teacher, and we had Mrs. Anderson, and we had, well, we had Ms. Oliver too. So there were a lot of us that, because as I understand about teaching language arts, I tell kids all the time, every class is a reading class. And I've always believed that, and they'll try to tell me, Mrs. Cole, that's not true. We don't read in shop. I'm like, really? Do you read the directions before, you rev up a saw? Because you should. And then they'll be like, we don't, no, everything is reading. Everything. And so it's lovely, because this year, instead of me worrying about 73 things, I have like a whole team that's going to work with me. And we're all going to work on reading, and we're going to work on vocabulary, and we're going to work on writing and expressing ourselves and public speaking. We are stronger together than we are alone. And that being the case, I'm very excited about this year. We are going to meet as the I'm going to be honest with you, the language arts team is going to be the coolest of the teams. And we're going to just figure stuff out. Once a month, we're going to talk about the different things that we all kind of specialize in, because everybody probably teaches vocabulary, but not a lot of people teach public speaking. Maybe a lot of people don't teach grammar. Nobody loves grammar. I'm sorry. But if you write something down and you post it in your business, and instead of signing the management, you write the mangement, that's a mistake. And I can help you fix that now, okay? So it might not be exciting and glamorous, but we're going to do grammar so that you know where those commas go. And you know what? If you know where those commas go, when we take that test, more people are going to pass. And so Nikki talked about her goals, and our goal as a language arts group is we will improve our test scores 2% every year with a 10% overall goal for 3 years. The goal is, again, we just mathematically figured that out, what that is. We figured out who basically is doing what. Mrs. Markley came in and she talked to us about like the state expectations, and there's this super cool graph that has pluses and minuses and equal signs, and that means that that class is above everybody else, or not quite where they need to be, or equal with the state. And it's awesome. You just look at it and you're like, this is where we're low. You can fix things when you know, and you can fix things when you have somebody on your side. So for that reason, I am super excited about our team approach, and I think it's going to really, really help students. So, and it'll look better on the cover.
think we're going to take a short break. Just real quick. Just a baby one. Just a little one. All right, we're going to come back just so we can finish up. Baby break is over. John. Okay, so I think that we're moving on to the consent agenda, right? Is that where we are? So I would entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda as is.
Can move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Great, all in favor? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And that passes. Motion passing. Okay. Then, Mr. Freeman, did you have?
Yes.
Some.
All right, next on the agenda is our annual student investment account report that we're required to report on every year. The irony here is we are reporting on the school year 2021-22, and most of us up here weren't around then. So I'm going to give you the abbreviated report. There are 4 areas that we need to report on. So the first one, what changes in behavior, actions, policies, or practice that you've observed when you implemented in 21-22, and then how do these changes contribute to the goals and outcomes in your SIA plan? So we hired an additional music support person, and that has allowed us to do several things. The principal included that we now speak music as it has become a school-wide language. I love that phrase, that everybody is participating in that. We've added behavior and special education support, and things that have happened there is special education IAs are able to attend additional training to work on skills to support a diverse student population. Behavior support staff at the elementary are working to increase students' ability to self-regulate and return to classrooms with limited loss of learning. We were able to hire our own evaluation specialists, and with our own evaluation specialists, students are able to get through the eval process quickly and are provided with supports faster. We're able to provide opportunities for our SPED, I think I already said that, to work on, to give additional resources to students to meet the specially designed instruction of each student. Number two, what barriers or challenges to the implementation have you experienced that are helpful? And the first one is one that we are continuing to work on, but even back then we recognized that mental health was an issue with our students, I would also say with our staff, and we put funds and implementations towards mental health access in our district. And then you'll hear more about, never mind, you just heard more about this. Student attendance continues to be an issue. COVID definitely took a hit in our organization, but as Nikki presented, we have some really great strategies that are actually, we're seeing incredible results. Super proud of the elementary and what's going on there. I may be speaking out of turn, Tammy, but I believe our attendance is in the 90% range for the 94%. So huge gains just by focusing on that. Third bullet, implementation include ongoing engagement with all students, families, staff. Underneath that bullet, engagement has been ongoing. We've worked to increase student engagement through the use of messaging apps. I believe that was when Parent Square was added to the district web page and Facebook page. Parents and community attended board meetings and are able to participate through public input. Hopefully you had that before this time, but students and staff groups meet monthly with several student interest surveys used to include student voice. And then the last bullet, as you think about what guided your choices and prioritizations effort in this year of implementation, what stands out? And so that was the year we were able to add additional assistant principal support at the elementary school, and that has impacted our ability to address student behavior and increase supports for students and staff across the district. We were able to return to a school-wide music education program that has created connection with students across campuses as evident at assemblies. Additionally, the Glide Elementary School music program has allowed students to establish a base understanding of music concepts prior to entering our middle school music program. As a result, we should see an increase in the music capability levels for incoming middle school musicians. And then finally, we recognize the need for additional mental health and student support district-wide and are addressing that issue. So with that, that's our report, annual report on our student improvement account.
We have come to the public participation part, but I do not have any yellow cards. Oh. And I have no yellow, I have no cards. I have not seen that for a while. Yeah.
Point of order. Yeah, that'd be me.
What's
Do
that?
we need to, I said point of order.
Yes.
Madam Chair. Do we need to approve the 2021 SEA annual report as presented?
Couldn't hurt.
Okay. Technically, we don't have to, but that's the way it is in the agenda. So Director Shaw, if you want to do that, entertain a motion.
Yeah, I would entertain a motion.
Okay, I move to approve Sorry, I was in a board meeting all week, so I move to approve the 2021 SEA annual report as presented.
Do I hear
I'll
a
second
second?
it.
Awesome. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All
Okay,
right.
now we can move on to agenda items.
Yes.
Starting with the first one, I sent out, or I believe Jan sent out, I don't want to take credit for that, in your email packet, 2 handbooks. One of the great benefits of having our own HR coordinator, Tracy, recognized right away that we had a couple groups in our organization that we didn't have any processes or rules to follow. So Tracy put together a handbook for volunteers and for, why am I missing the next one? Substitutes, thank you, sorry. And she put those together. We ran those through our leadership group, and we are presenting to the board to adopt as our handbooks for substitutes and for our volunteers. Hopefully you had a chance to review those.
Yes.
I did not get a chance to review them yet.
Are we approving that?
I hope so, but it's up to you.
Do you want to take a second and look at it?
I would, yes, like to, yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What?
Oh, are we ready? Are you good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to approve the handbook that we're going to be using for substitute teachers and for volunteers. Classified?
I'll move to approve the volunteer and substitute handbook as presented.
I'll second it.
All right. Is there any discussion?
I just have one question, and that is, so everybody will be given it and then they'll have to sign it? Is that the, I assume that, but it wasn't like, I didn't like look at like this. Perfect.
Board member Shaw, were you saying something?
No, no, well, I was waiting my turn. It's hard, and I'm sorry that I'm not there. I do apologize for that. But thanks for letting me zoom in. I think the handbook was put together very well, and it was very easy to read, and it definitely fills a void that I feel we needed to fill, and so I am for the voting affirmative on this motion.
Awesome, wonderful. Okay. Any other discussion points or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right. Motion passes.
Okay, I apologize. This looks like the Superintendent Freeman show, but next up are modifications to 2 existing policies. These are, and I'll explain both of them as we go through, but I want to remind the board that when we add a new policy, it does require a second reading, but when we adjust a current policy, we can approve on first reading, and I'll be asking on both of these policies that we approve on first reading. The first one is policy GBN JBA and GBA GBN. The reason those are reversed is one is in the staff section and the other one is in the student section, and they're the same policy in both areas. So that's why it's listed that way. And the only changes we're making on this policy is we're identifying me, the superintendent, in those policies. So, or designee. Thank you.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the updated policy.
So Robert, the policy is staying the same, it's just,
Put my name on it.
okay.
Yep, but just, this is a great learning opportunity right here. So when we have discussion like that, it's the proper way of doing that is to make a motion and then second that and then ask for a discussion. And that's the time that we could answer questions like that. So the first thing you need is a motion and then approve that motion.
I move to approve updated policy GBN JBA GBN as presented.
I'll
Second it.
All right, but so would we like to discuss for that? I mean, have a discussion around that? Any questions?
Well, my question was
Yeah.
already answered.
So to
So
answer
there you go.
Director Quimby, yes, it's just changing the name, and there the previous superintendent was under this policy.
Any other?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So why, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have that right in front of me, but why don't we just have it as the superintendent? Why are we putting people's names on it? Otherwise, we're going to change this every time we change superintendents. Nothing personal, Robert.
So if that's the direction of the board, you can call to amend that and strike out my name and add superintendent or designee. Oh, it's not my name? Oh, yay, we're ahead of that. Okay, perfect. Nice job, Director Shaw. Let's do that.
You're welcome. Could I also ask for that section, either that sentence or two, whatever that is, could that be read out loud to in public, please? As it is now and as it will be amended.
So we don't have that in our packets. That'll take just a minute to get to.
Okay.
Oh, is that in the email? Okay.
This is the same for both policies that we looked at. It previously says reports and complaints of sexual harassment should be made to the following individuals. It previously said Christina Hauk, high middle school principal, and her phone number and email address. The change will be superintendent or designee, and then the phone number of the district office.
Perfect.
So can I make, I guess I'm asking, does, in terms of having Christina's name in there, in terms of best practice for policy, it's good just to have the role and not, to Tim's point, just the role and not the individual, unless it has to have the individual for, like, you know, reporting.
Right, isn't that what we're changing it from?
That's
Is
what-
having it specific to just the super and slash designee and the district phone number rather than a specific person.
So Director Holland, your point is well taken, and I think when we enter into the full-blown policy review, we'll want to make sure we incorporate that philosophy as we update our policies. There are certain areas that we do have to list people, but in our policies, we do not. We can just list titles.
All right, any other discussion, comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the policy minor change, say aye. Aye? Okay, motion passed.
All right, the next policy is around our wellness policy, and our food service area. And these changes are mandated by the Oregon Department of Education. And if we don't do this, then we will stop receiving our funds from the federal government. So my recommendation is that you approve these changes as presented. I will tell you that Ms. Standish and myself met with Kyle Micken in charge of Sodexo, and we went through the areas on there that were mandated and those that were just recommended, and we left off several recommended ones and until they're mandated in a future year. So this is the pared down version of renewing that. But as you can see, there are several changes to that policy. And again, I ask that you approve that on first reading.
So I will entertain a motion to approve the updated policy.
I move to approve that EFA, which is wellness policy as presented.
Second it.
Okay, any discussion, comments, or questions?
I will just note, if this was pared down, that is a
Is that
really
ridiculous?
long
Sorry.
policy.
Yes.
That wasn't very professional.
Holy smoly.
Yeah, so please don't get Carolyn going on this topic. We are addressing it. I will tell you that food service consumes a tremendous amount of our time and effort, as you can see by this policy. So that is the trimmed down version.
Well, I mean, going through this, the popsicle party is not going to be legal. I mean, this is ridiculous. You can't drop and give me 10 because it's, you know, no physical. I don't know. I did get to review this one, by the way, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know where it comes from, or, I mean, what?
Oregon Department of Education, I believe.
Department of Education.
I wish I might have got it earlier before we went up to the indoctrination ceremony.
And actually what Director Quimby's talking about is that is vetted through OSBA, who helps with policies, and that was their recommendation to make those changes.
So, what are we like talking about as far as they're just going to cut our money off if we don't approve this? Is that what they're threatening to do?
Yeah, if we're out of compliance and we're ineligible to receive the federal funds, and I'm guessing that our business manager would advise against that, but I won't speak for her.
Yes, but it's kind of like, you know, holding people up. I mean, this stuff is a little ridiculous.
Can I also ask, in terms of clarifying, like, it talks about teachers, like, there's a whole part of this that was addressed and I just was curious about that, like how that encompassed and got so broad versus just the students.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Our teachers are used to teaching health and wellness in their classes, and our principals are very in tune to this policy. When Dr. Howe talked about the new student store, she's very in tune to what we can sell and what we can't sell, and the items we sell out of there meet this policy.
I'm guessing popsicles don't make it.
We're not selling those.
I have real problem with this. I mean, you know, well, it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what we can, I mean, I guess you got to start somewhere else, or, I mean, don't you find it ridiculous?
I am advising the directors to approve this because our funding is tied to this, and it is recommended from OSBA that districts abide by this.
Yeah, it's holding us up, you know, for a ridiculous.
So we're just complying with the mandated pieces, not the recommended pieces. Isn't that what you were saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
And still even at that, it's, how much money are we talking about? Let's see.
I'm sorry, was there a dollar amount given, or are we still working on
He's not going to hear what you're saying.
Oh, can you hear me now?
that? Yes, thank you.
Okay. I do not have that number off the top of my head. Sorry.
You want to take a wild guess? I mean, is it a $1.298, $10,000, $100,000?
It's probably over $100,000.
Won't hold
This
your
is
feet to the
how
fire.
we pay for our school lunches. We provide free lunches to all of our students, and this is how we get reimbursed by the state. It helps us pay for all our food, so.
Madam Chair? Question?
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
When does this have to be approved by? Is it today or we die, or what's the drop dead date? Or is there one?
We currently are going to be having a review this month, and so it would be really nice if we could get this approved, because this is one of the things that's required.
I guess I would like to suggest that if we can move forward with, if there is agreement about the policy, at least to get that approved as superintendent said, so that we can get this, and then maybe this could be an action item that we follow up as part of the coordination or discussions around this. I mean, but if it's a state requirement, it's a state requirement. I mean, the only thing we could do is advocate at the state level for changes.
That's correct.
And that was what I was trying to, is it possible to table it and have a work session and see what, get a better idea on what we can, if we need to fight this, how do we fight it and successfully? Or are we just gonna have to roll? John, I hear what you're saying. And this definitely sounds like we're being held hostage, and that alone, that principle alone ticks me off, just to be blunt. So I don't like to be held like that. So especially with some of the silliness going on. So
So just
but if we have
for
to, we
an
have to.
example,
I
Tim,
mean,
I just did a claim today, and it was about $22,000 for 1 month. So that's about $220,000 for 10 months.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's why I was, you know, if do we have any time at all to spend a little more time exploring what our options are?
I guess I would advocate that. It doesn't sound like we have that good plan, Tim, and I do not want to see our kids without having the funding for their lunch program. And so it seems like, as I said, like if we can at least move to vote to approve it, maybe take this up as an advocacy issue for the coming year. But there's a review that's coming up that's going to be dependent on whether or not we continue to get funding. That seems like it would be a critical issue. I'm having a hard time because I don't know if I don't lean into the mic, you don't hear me, but like I have to look at you. So sorry. So if we can at least maybe plug our nose and and at least move forward on it so that we continue to have the lunch program.
So Carolyn, when is that? It's in December, review happening? Yeah, when are they coming through to check on stuff to see that we're in compliance?
Like I had to just submit a whole lot of information to them that they're going through right now. And then there will be a person on site, I believe, November 27th and 28th.
November what?
27th and 28th.
27th and 28th. That's a pretty short amount of time. I mean, that's just like a week or so.
So
right?
how long is this, like, is this a yearly thing or?
Well, it's a policy, so it's
reviewable at any time,
at
basically.
any time. I do think I agree with Director Holland that we need to move forward. I think it would be in our best interest to have a work session to decide what about this policy that you are frustrated with, and then figure out how you can advocate to change that. We're not going to make those changes tonight, and and again, what's at risk here is the funding for our students for their meals, and I don't think any of you want to see that disappear.
I'm curious, does anybody know what other
other rural schools are doing?
School districts, like, yeah. Anybody know what they're doing? Are they just rolling?
Yes. Yes.
But also this could be something, Tim, you weren't at the conference, but this could be something in terms of the rural school caucus, if that does happen and gets voted in. Are we voting on that tonight? I didn't see that, actually.
Is that tonight?
Don't we have to pass it? I don't know when it's.
I can't remember when the deadline is. So what she's referring to is they're trying to put together a rural caucus that, with the OSBA, and it's kind of modeled after the color caucus. In fact, they borrowed a lot of their bylaws and structure, but it will give more voice and power to the rural districts, which there are more rural districts than there are urban ones in Oregon, and not all of the things that come down the pipeline from the Oregon Department of Education is a fit for rural districts. So we went to that meeting and we're hoping to be involved. Everyone gets to vote on that. I suspect it's going to pass, but that also gives us more funding to do stuff and gives us a bigger voice legislatively wise in Salem. So sorry, that was a side note tangent to explain what she was talking about. So back to the discussion at hand. Yes. Board Member Shaw.
So when did this come out? When say we had to do this, or when did this policy be
So quite honestly,
published or whatever for us
Tim,
to
I was
review
not aware of
go?
it
When was it pushed?
until I started filling out the application packet, and that's, then I realized that we needed it. We've actually had the local wellness policy in our policy. The last time it was updated was 2017.
To paraphrase, it sounds like part of the review process is.
I didn't quite follow that.
So that was in your packet, and it is, I mean, a motion's been made and seconded, so I think we need to vote either to accept it or not accept it, and then we'll move on from there.
This is fun. So I guess I'm asking for a motion?
The motion's already been made.
Oh, sorry, I'm asking for that second, for the vote.
Another second vote.
Oh, all
Just a
in,
second.
all
Have the discussion.
I got lost.
Go ahead.
All in favor of this passing? Oh, man. I don't think this is gonna pass.
You're the board of directors.
Hold on one sec. I think that we should,
So now,
yeah, I understand. So, what I'm hearing is some very serious concerns from my other board members, and so, before we just let this die away, we should have some kind of work session around it or something before folks come through on the 27th. So if that's what we're not doing is passing this, then clear out your calendars, because we need another meeting before the 27th to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Well, we just
I
got
agree.
this yesterday, I believe. Yesterday? Yeah. And there's some, like I say, we can't have the politics with you. That's celebrations
If
and
I can-
rewards and incentives.
So can I ask, so part of this, so the consequences for not, I'm looking at weighing this, John, so the consequences of not doing this are significant. The consequences, if
Possibly.
we don't follow, okay, you don't think that they'll come and cut. If we don't pass a policy that is updated, we're also gonna be out of compliance. If we have a popsicle party, I don't think they're gonna come down and say
Well,
you're
I
in
don't think
violation.
that's what I'm saying. It is ridiculous. The deal is ridiculous. I mean, why does it have to be that way? Did you read the celebrations and rewards and incentives?
Yes.
It's like, and then when it goes on to the physical, the PE and stuff, you can't have a competition. You can't tell a kid, oh, he lost, now you got to do 10 push-ups or whatever. That's what I say. It's like not.
It sounds like that's already actually been in the policy since 2017, that part of it. So that's already a thing. I'm willing to entertain another meeting as long as we, before that, we have a review. I don't want to just willy-nilly throw this all away. So I would, if you're saying you're not going to vote on it, then we need to have a meeting before the 27th. That's so that we can just hash this out.
So can I ask just a point of clarification, Tracy? So what is the leeway that we actually have with this policy? If this was recommended by the OSBA in order to pass the requirements, is that correct? I mean, this was given to us in order to pass what they expect to see in a policy for us to get the funding. Am I correct?
The mandated updates. They had recommended updates that are not included in this proposal.
They haven't gotten the updates there yet. Is that what you're saying, or they did? You did do those updates?
Yes, presented to you is the policy that OSBA is recommending that we update. So the recommendations are on there. Yes.
But all of this stuff is mandated then, that's on here.
Correct.
So when are we scheduling that meeting? So you said the 27th, that's a Monday, next week's Thanksgiving.
Well, first off, what can we do about it? There is no way that you're going to go in and have change the state mandates in a week or 2 weeks.
So no, I wasn't talking about changing the state mandates. I'm just a meeting to have a conversation about what are the alternatives, because I'm hearing that folks want an alternative solution. So we should have a conversation
I was
about
just
that.
hoping Tim would vote for it so that I didn't have to.
I see.
So if I can, go ahead.
Have we, Robert, do you know of any, the only thing against the mandate is if all the schools or a majority of the schools tell them to go pound sand. If we're the only ones telling them to go pound sand, we're not going to get very far, and we're going to have to go to much greater lengths to change these. And it's not going to be in any fast time frame at all. And to Janet's point, and well, to everybody's point, nobody wants to put our food services to the students at risk. Or no, I won't say at risk. Everything's a risk, and we're doing risk management, and this one's getting a little dicey. Don't like being held to the fire like this with really no input. I'm kind of appalled that this thing, wasn't presented to the school district, or the way they do it. I feel like it slid in rather than being up front. Hey, this is what's coming down the road. And maybe that's me. Maybe I missed it somewhere. And if that's true, then I'll own that.
So I will say that this district has not updated policies in a long time, and this is not an uncommon practice. We sign up to receive updates from OSBA. They're our guiding organization, and they do the legal background and research, and then they give us recommendations, and they come as recommendations that we have to do. That's what's presented in front of you. Those that we can do, or we can make a decision on. And then we also have the right to, sometimes within the policy, they'll put brackets that we can make decisions on. This is a very common process, but like I said, you guys have not been through this process before. And I will tell you that when we have OSBA come down and go through a full-blown policy review, you're going to encounter these things often. So if there is a different process you would like for me to present updates to our policy, then I need direction from Chair Adave on how to do that. But this is the process that I'm familiar with, and that's what I'm presenting to you. So I think, for the sake of time, that you either need to decide if this is something you can support, and if it's not, then we'll have to figure out what the consequence of that will be.
Well, and the big thing is, you know, November 27th, okay, the boogeyman's coming. I say that tongue in cheek. You know, I deal with that with regulators showing up all the time. Does that mean you're going to get the rug pulled out from underneath you that day or not? That's really what we're asking. So if they say, oh, you haven't done that yet, we can say, hey, we're going to vote on it again in our December meeting. Or it's like, you need to get this fixed right away, then we call for an emergency meeting and we take care of it. Those are my thoughts.
I appreciate that. So if I can just add, I think what I heard very clearly, you know, from our superintendent is that there isn't a lot of wiggle room right now. OSBA is recommending that we move forward with this policy. If we want to do that advocacy, Tim, to your point, I think we can look at that down the road and say that is one of the objectives as the board we want to give input into going forward. But for now, like, to put our kids at risk just on, you know, maybe they won't, maybe they will. I don't know how, if they find us out of compliance, I'm assuming there's some sort of corrective action plan. There's, you know, all of that stuff. But I will just also talk about perception. I just don't want the community to think, wow, we, you know, potentially as a board
Don't care about kids being fed.
Kids' food and them getting something to eat. So I agree, John. It's some of the stuff was like, wow, okay. And do we want to hold everything up on that? Because to your point, Tim, I don't think this is going to be something that it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to take a year or two to change some of this direction at the state level.
And this is why I've wanted us to get involved on the legislative level, because this is where you make the change, and why we also need a voice on the caucus, and maybe one of us be a member on that or a member at the OSBA level, so that we can kick and scream for giving testimonies of why things should be different for us. That it's not a cookie cutter approach. What's good for Portland is not good for Glide.
Well, this is not good for anybody, some of it, but
totally get it.
Regardless, but I mean, yes, it would probably be something you could get changed. I mean, on some of it, I don't think it's doesn't matter. I mean, who is going to tell you can't have a kid do push-ups, or you can't have a popsicle party, or, you know, that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about, that, you know, according to these policies, they're basically limit you on doing those things. And
my thoughts are like that maybe the popsicle police don't come by very often.
That's true.
Just saying.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
we've had additional discussion now, and there are many points to this, and a lot of it's unknown. I'd love to know what brainchild thought this stuff up, and what was the vetting process of it. And, you know, I feel kind of sideswiped, but, you know, the resounding question remains about the risk to our food funding, to put it, that may not be the right terms, but I think I'm being understood. I am not a parliamentarian, but the motion has been made and voted on. Now, with added discussion and such, I believe there is a methodology in Robert's rules that you can, I don't know what the proper terms are. Where's Hannah at when I need her? Where's the head of the FFA? I wish I was better at this stuff, but I'm getting there. I think you can ask for if anybody has changed has made has changed their mind on their vote, and you can do a roll call vote. Please,
Yes,
anybody out there
you
that-
never asked for any nay votes anyway.
We haven't voted on it yet.
Yes,
We're still in discussion phase.
yes.
She did ask.
So
for
I
a
want to
vote.
I did
make one
ask
more.
for a vote and saw that we weren't,
Oh.
it wasn't gonna.
Well,
We can also amend a motion if you would like, and I'm willing to make that motion, which is basically that we move to approve this policy with intent to revisit as a board and a work group, so that going forward, that we can make recommended change at the state level.
What point of order, Janet? You're barking up the right tree. You can't amend a motion that's already been essentially failed, but you can make a new one.
That's what I said. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard amend. So, okay, I apologize.
was proposing a new motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor of the new motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Okay. Superintendent evaluation.
This will be easier.
I might need my candy now.
All right, one of my philosophies and the board's philosophies is being very transparent. Often superintendent goals or check-ins are done in executive session. This board really has an emphasis on being transparent and having these done in open sessions. We haven't established a calendar or a process for evaluating the superintendent for this year. As we learned at the OSBA conference, the first year of a superintendency is not the time to do a formal process for your superintendent evaluation. And so, as you can see on here, I have a draft proposal of what this year could look like in preparing us for a formal process of evaluating the superintendent next year. So this is just a draft to promote discussion, and you can do whatever your desire is, but we do need to have some kind of process in place for me to give you feedback on things that I think are happening well in the district and that we've worked on, and then you acknowledging that and also giving direction on areas that you would like to see attended to. So in front of you is a proposed schedule for board superintendent check-in dates in preparation for the 23-24 student superintendent evaluation. And again, this year will look different than the formal evaluation next year. Tonight, I would like to just give a review on areas that I call focus areas. These are areas that I believe when you hired me the end of July, that these were topics that you wanted me to adhere to in my first stages of being a superintendent. Those might be different. Those are my recollections. So I ask that you look at those focus areas and see if those are accurate or not, or if there's anything we need to take off there or add to it. I am prepared tonight to talk about those focus areas and things that have happened already. And to be quite frank, a lot has happened in a very short time in this district, and I'm super proud of that. And I'm not saying I'm the person that did that. That's done by the entire team and the district and the community. January 11th is a board meeting in January, and I would like to give another update and review of the areas of focus. Early March, I would like for us to participate in an evaluation process that will mimic the official evaluation process in year 2, but I will conduct a self-evaluation, and each of you will complete an individual evaluation of the superintendent. And then during our March board meeting, we will review that, and each of you will get an opportunity to discuss strengths, things that still need to be attended to, and if there's areas of concern, those would come out of that meeting. Remember, each of you individually do not have the power to evaluate me. The evaluation is the collective group. Therefore, there needs to be a consensus of the board that you put together and develop one voice, and that will be the board's official document that you share with the superintendent and the public. That could come out of that March meeting. I did put this off into April, but you actually could do that in March, depending on your desires. But the end goal would be an annual review where the board has a written statement ready to share with the superintendent and the community. And then the day following that board meeting, whether it's the April board meeting or the March board meeting, we would issue a press release that summarizes that report. Then beginning in May, I have May, June of 2024. That's when we start the goal setting process. That's an interactive process between the board and the superintendent that's based on our district priorities and the strategic plan, which will be developed by then. And then that rolls us into the following year where now I have guidance on what we're going to accomplish in the school, and then I can report back on that during board meetings, and then we'll have periodic check-in dates with the goal of coming up with that superintendent evaluation before the March 15th deadline. So for the public, the focus areas that I have written down are student experience, developing district priorities and a strategic plan, assuring that our accreditation process is complete, building strong school and community relationships, updating district policies. That was a little bit funny. Is it too soon? Okay. Wrap up complaints and public records requests, and ensuring that we have a welcome and inclusive culture in our district. So with that, I present that to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so well then back to you for the superintendent report, or was that?
Well, that actually, we actually need to have a vote. And then a discussion, and then decide if that's, approve that or not.
I move to approve to open discussions on how we are going to evaluate the superintendent.
I second that.
All in favor? Say aye. What? Oh, discussion. Sorry, my bad.
Ask clarifying.
Yes.
So in terms of the press release, what are you hoping to?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
The press release that's on here. What? Can I just ask what the intent behind that
Yeah.
is?
So I think it's really important that we are transparent, not just with the people in the meeting, but with our community, and showing you guys, showing the community that you are working together, supporting the superintendent to be successful, giving feedback on things that are happening very well and things that we need to continue to work on. And I think us making that a press release is really important for our district to show that we are engaged in that process.
I would also say, looking at this, that I would hope that maybe we can also have a discussion about, do we need to have our evaluation in an executive meeting? So something to think about as far as the board and our feedback, that maybe we could have that in an open meeting. Any other questions or discussion comments?
I'll comment to that.
Yeah.
I have no reservations of having those discussions in an open public meeting. I really don't have anything to hide, so I am always looking for feedback. I hope in the short time that you have gotten to know me and people that I work with, that I am very reflective, and it's okay if somebody says that I didn't do something correct or would like to see something done differently. I'm very open to feedback on that, so that would not bother me to have that in an open public meeting.
Thank you for sharing that. That's actually pretty important. All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Sorry. So you said you wanted to, do you want to change the executive session to just a regular session?
Do I need to like make an amendment then?
Yeah,
if we're
because
doing that?
we're voting on, well, you don't have to even vote on it. I'm just proposing this. We can talk about it the next meeting. I would like to report on some of those focus areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, point of clarification, because I thought it was to move to start
Open
Was to have discussions.
how we're going to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Right.
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I would really like I would like to have direction on how you all are evaluating me. So if we could get to that point tonight, that would be great.
Yeah, I think we're,
that's super fair,
I think we're saying that we sort of approve this draft.
sort of.
Well, I mean that do we need to vote on whether we have it in executive session or not, that piece on this draft? Or because sorry, and I'm not trying to be difficult, right? So the motion is that, to open discussions on how we're going to evaluate the superintendent. That's the motion. So that
Okay.
I would think that we don't actually have to define this small piece of this part right here, but that we are gonna, that this is a good format? Or do we need to be like really, do we need to decide this right now, this part?
I will add my,
Yes.
and again, I would love some feedback, because I don't know what that self-evaluation, if it's just the focus areas and what is that going to look like. So to me, the motion was really like, let's start the conversation so that we know we're entering in a dialogue. That's how I took it. I really like the focus areas, I will say that. Those are, but I'd like to think about it a little bit too. Is there something missing? It's a long night. It's 9 o'clock. I've been up since like 4. So like if there, and maybe that's part of this dialogue, is have a conversation, does this make sense? Let's start that so that you know what to expect too, Robert. I mean, I think that's a part of it. And we can also be aligned in what that looks like. So that's how I took it. Like, let's start the conversation about what that would look like. I would hope that we would have this nailed down quickly. So like, like what it is that is going to be the process. I think the timelines look great. It's just fleshing out the details.
Okay.
So we're have the dialogue, so, right? Okay, so motion passes. And sorry, now to your report. All right.
All righty. How about I'll just, I'll send all that out in an email. Okay, thank you. So I want to remind the public that the board prioritized setting priorities. Ms. Cole would not approve of that sentence. And they backed that with action, where we engaged in a community engagement. Man, I am doubling up words all night here. Where we participated with the community to develop district priorities. And the board, along with several community members and our leadership and students, talked about things that were super important to the district and the student experience. And through that process, we came up with 4 draft district priorities. I'd like to read those to everyone and then talk about the next steps in that process. So that group came up with priority areas of parent-family engagement and communication, student engagement, welcoming and inclusive district culture, and then life, college, and career readiness. And they also came up with aspirations. Those are things underneath each of those topics that would hopefully lead students to experience those areas. Our next step is to get more student voice involved in these priorities. And so I'm going to work with the principals to establish student advisory groups where we'll present these 4 priority areas and talk about the aspirations and ask students, what would that look like through the lens of a student? We talked a lot about what that might look like as adults, but it would be really it's going to be really powerful to hear from students on what they see that looks like. After that, we'll condense that information, present that to the public, and to solicit public feedback. And then I will bring those to you in the December board meeting to adopt as our district priorities. And once you vote to accept those as our priorities, that will give the segue for me and my team then to develop a strategic plan. So here's what our vision is and our values. Now, what does that look like in practice? And that's what a strategic plan will do. And then my goal would be to have that ready for approval by the February board meeting. So by the end of the school year, we will have district priorities and a strategic plan. So that's my update on district priorities and strategic plan. I also want to point out in your packet, we did send you the updated district report card that is public. And as you, I'm sure, saw, there are areas of strength in our district and in areas that we need to focus on. I want to commend our leadership team on identifying those areas and not just identifying, but actually doing actionable interventions to try to improve those areas. So I just wanted to bring that up to you. And with that, that's my superintendent report.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have a, did Kathleen already leave? Part of that in the, gotcha, already with that. Okay, so financial report, so exciting.
It's okay, people. I only have about an hour's worth of stuff to talk about. I was just going to quickly touch on that July through November is kind of our lean months because we only receive state school funds during that time, and a good portion of our monies also come from local taxes. So yay hoo for our property taxes that are due this month. Yeah. We already got, I was never so excited to pay my property taxes before this year. I was like, cool, it's time for property tax money to start coming into the school district. So we did get a decent sized payment already. So, and that's that. And cool. You know, you guys get your financial reports in your packet. And if you ever have questions, you can email me or call me.
All right, thank you. And now individual board member reports. Does anybody have anything they want to report? John?
Well, I will say that we did go, the 3 of us that are sitting here, board members, went to the OSBA convention last weekend. We are now fully indoctrinated members, school board members. Actually, there was some pretty good stuff there. They had little different classes, and I did go to the policy class that they had, and I asked them the same question, what if we don't do it? And it didn't have an answer on some of that stuff. And we did some other, there was lots of different classes. We went to a class on charter schools also. And I don't know if anybody's looked into that much. But it was kind of interesting, not that, there was some advantages and some disadvantages to it, but I don't know if it's something that we'll ever look at or not. But anyway, that's kind of the deal. We did use some of the hard-earned taxpayers' money to go up there to Portland for a weekend.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good weekend, and that was an interesting workshop on charter schools. And I've jotted down the ORS on that so that I can look a little bit deeper into the laws and policies around that, because maybe that answers some of the questions that were asked earlier this evening. So just something to look into. And anybody else? Mr. Shaw, any reports?
No, I'm just real sorry again that I wasn't able to attend that indoctrination, as John put it. And actually, I was at my company's board meeting, so I got to brush up very thickly on parliamentary procedure. So that part was good. But and I'm up here in Corvallis on training the rest of this week. Do appreciate you letting me zoom in and participate remotely. It is not the same to clap here and for the SB awards and stuff. And Janet, thank you for having some form of interaction, but being there in person just is way more meaningful. Way more meaningful. It makes me mad that I'm not there myself. So, but thank you all for coming and putting up with me.
I would definitely echo about the attending the conference. The one thing that one of the more interesting, well, a couple were really interesting, but one that I did go to that was with the Astoria School District was actually about teacher wellness. And I really am concerned because I think that I also had the opportunity to talk to a lot of different school districts, and also as part of my job, I was also talking with some of the school districts down in Jackson County, and I heard a prevailing concern around if our teachers aren't healthy, our students aren't healthy. And so I would like to, I haven't shared this with Robert, but I think that they had some really good ideas about how to increase teacher wellness in very creative ways that didn't cost a lot of money, and had some really good ideas about how to engage community in that support. And there's some really good things that I know that you did about like filling the fridge and things like that, that I was actually able to highlight in that, which I thought was really cool. And so I would just like to think and again talk with Robert, and I'm sure that there are things that the principals are doing, but I thought that they had some really innovative, creative things that they were doing. I'm actually going to take those away to some of my work things that I'll also use there. And then I did have just in terms of like maybe a suggestion, and I was looking again because on my phone for when we do get policies, Robert, it would be helpful if we maybe talk about getting a red line version so that I know what those changes are, as well as then the version. If that's easy to do, that would be helpful. Just because I was reading through that policy kind of like John, and I didn't know what was new or not new. And so if I could see that red line version, I think it would just like make it like so much clearer, like this is all that changed is with the name. Because I'm learning, and so I've got a huge learning curve, and to Robert's point, we've got all of these policies that we're going to have to dive into, and I think to make that clear going forward, I think it could just help you and you, Robert, both, so that we're not asking all these questions like, what does that really mean? So just a suggestion.
All right. Yes, and to remind everyone, we had moved the date of the December meeting up a week so that it didn't fall on winter break. So I sure appreciate everyone hanging in there tonight, and this thing is officially adjourned. Yay!